What is going on, everybody? This is the Father-Son Fantasy Football Podcast, and in today's episode, we are going to do part 2 of the Old Faces, New Places. Today, it's going to be the wide receivers and tight ends.
20 wide receivers changed places this year. That's a lot.
And how about tight ends? There's I think 4
tight ends. I think there's 4 major ones that we'll talk about.
And we hope you enjoyed our last episode of part 1, running backs and quarterbacks. And once again, we are on iTunes, Google Play, and YouTube. Please write in a review, 5 stars, and we will shout you out in the start of the next episode. We are going to be on vacation from the 20th to the 27th, so we are pre-recording this episode. So if you guys do leave a review and we didn't say at the beginning of this episode, that is why. And we hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. A lot in store. We have some wide receivers that we're probably going to have arguments again. And I think that we are going to have more arguments this time than we did last episode, possibly, because there's more wide receivers.
Because we had some arguments last episode on the running backs.
Yes. All right, so let's kick it off first.
Let's start with free agency.
Free agency first.
The only wide receiver really on the block there is Dez Bryant, of course. Who wants him?
He won't. I don't know. Well, I'll see where he goes.
Well, he turned down a 1-year deal, I heard, from Baltimore for $7 million. Somebody says he's going to land in Washington. That's what rumor has it. Because when he left Dallas, he said, "I'll see you guys twice this year."
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
We'll see.
Most teams don't even want to sign him for the minimum deal. So.
He's a head case. I wouldn't sign him. But he's going to go somewhere.
All right. So who's our first wide receiver?
First one off the board is Danny Amendola. Went New England to Miami.
Miami? What do you think about him?
Well,
I'll tell you.
He needs to be fed the ball to have success in Miami because he really shined at New England when Edelman wasn't on the field, but he's not Jarvis Landry, so I don't know what's going to happen. If he gets a lot of targets, he could be a playmaker, but...
Albert Wilson is also in Miami, and I believe that him and Amendola are going to compete for the slot, and I think Wilson's going to beat him out because Wilson actually leads all wide receivers in missed tackles forced per reception since the end of the NFL, so... I think he's better than Amendola, but I still think they're probably both going to play, and they're both going to get their touches. I'm not touching them in the drafts, though.
Nah, he doesn't have Tom Brady to throw to him anymore either, so...
Yeah, I'm not touching him. All right, who's next? We got John Brown, Arizona to Baltimore.
I love John Brown in this situation, going from Arizona to Baltimore.
Oh, you love him.
He can be a big-time player in Baltimore. In Arizona, he was overshadowed by Larry Fitzgerald. I mean, you can't dominate when you have a legend right next to you. I think he'll have better success in Arizona.
I disagree.
There it is.
You mean Baltimore. He's not going to draft it right now, so maybe he's like a late
in
pick.
Baltimore, I mean.
But there's Crabtree and Willie Snead, who we're also going to talk about. Snead gets the slot role. I think John Brown is opposite Crabtree. It's a very low-volume passing offense, run-first team, and I have no interest whatsoever. I'm sorry.
I just like where he's going.
No,
I like him in Baltimore.
I hate Baltimore. Baltimore's a very bad passing offense.
Crabtree's going to shine. We'll talk about him in a little bit.
Let's go to Crabtree right now.
All right, go to Crabtree. Go.
I think he's a great red zone wide receiver. I think he's the clear top wide receiver.
He's going to be Flacco's favorite target.
He's averaged a target share at least 21% during all 9 seasons, including 25% in each season with the Raiders. Mm-hmm. Baltimore, however, has ranked well below the touchdown average the past 4 or 5 years, and it was a run-first offense last year. I don't think things change. I think it stays the same. Run-first offense limits upside. I think he is going to be a wide receiver 3 this year, and I don't think I'm going to touch him in many drafts. He is talented, though. I like Crabtree a lot.
He could get a lot of targets in the red zone.
He's a 26th wide receiver off the board right now. Last pick in the 5th round for 12-team PPR leagues.
Yeah.
Going right around Edelman and Funches, and I'd rather have Edelman than him. So that's just, yeah. And then the other wide receiver that went to Baltimore, Willie Snead. He's in the slot. I also, because of the low-volume passing offense, I love Snead as a player, but this offense just scares me because it's run-first team, and I don't see there being much value for him. It sucks because, like I said, I like him as a player, but offense just doesn't have enough passing value.
Yeah, they're short pass heavy. I don't know.
I think it's a run-first offense. Run-first offense,
right.
So I don't see much value for any of these guys. I think Crabtree is best as a wide receiver 3 on your team, and I'm not drafting any of these guys in fantasy this year. You can have Crabtree if you love Crabtree. You can take your John Brown late for a sleeper pick, probably.
I would take John Brown late. I wouldn't take him early. I just like where he's going. That's all.
Yeah. All right. Next up on the list,
Brandin Cooks.
Brandin Cooks, New England to Los Angeles Rams. So have you go first on this one. We'll see what you think about him, and we'll compare it.
I think he'll do good in L.A. He's definitely going to take over the number 1 spot. I think
21st wide receiver off the board right now.
Yeah, I think Woods and Cups are the big losers in this deal. What he did in he should surpass what he did in New England because he'll be the number one there. But with Gurley in the backfield, they will use Cook a lot for his speed.
I think it's going to be very similar to last year. He's recorded 3 straight 1,000-yard seasons and has benefited from playing with elite quarterbacks tied to creative play callers. Sean McVay is very talented play caller, and obviously Jared Goff's not in the same category as Tom Brady or Breeze, but he finds himself in a very similar scenario in 2018.
Right.
The Rams tied New England for the second highest points per game, 28.9. I believe Cooks is going to be once again their 1,000-yard receiver.
Yep, I agree.
Touchdowns.
I agree.
He's going as 21st. I'd take him there.
Yep, I would too.
12th round.
I would too. Like I said, he's going to be the number one there, without question.
And Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp are losers in this trade, as they're not going to have 20% market share for all 3 receivers. Right. And Todd Gurley is also emerging as a pass catcher.
Yeah.
So I downgrade Robert Woods and downgrade Cooper Kupp.
I agree.
All right, next up we have Allen Hurns, Jacksonville to Dallas.
I mean, with Dez gone, he'll be a big part of the offense. But you know who I love there? I love the rookie Galloway there.
Gallup. You love Michael Gallup a lot.
I love Gallup. Oh.
I think I'm going to take Hurns more in drafts. Hurns is currently going to 50 wide receiver.
No, I would stretch and take Gallup over him.
50th wide receiver. You probably get Gallup later. And 11th round, 7th pick. Dallas barely had a number 1 fantasy viable wide receiver last year. And I don't see it changing. Run heavy offense again.
There you go.
And
but he's got to throw to somebody.
Hurns is at 18% target share over the past 4 years. Des Bryant gone helps a lot.
Yep.
I love him in the 11th round, so I'll probably take him in the 11th round, 100%. In 12 team PPR leagues, he's a great late round wide receiver pick. Next up,
Jarvis Landry. He went from Miami to Cleveland. He went from a number 1 to probably a number 2. It's a loss for him. I think Josh Gordon will be the number 1 there. I mean, he got a ton of targets in Miami. He's not in the same offense with Cleveland. I don't know, but he could have another 1,000-yard year.
2 words. Not taking him.
No,
that's
not,
3.
No.
There you go.
He's not the same.
No pass catcher. No pass catcher ever to play with Tyrod Taylor has ever caught more than 60 passes in a season. 1 goal is like you want to be reasonable with these projections and what you think, and he's always been a volume-dependent receiver, and I don't see him having that much volume in this offense with Josh Gordon there. And there's so much competition there. It's run-heavy offense. I'm taking Gordon over him if I'm taking a wide receiver in Cleveland. I'm not touching him in drafts. His price right now is way too high for my likings.
I agree with you. I'm going to take Gordon over Landry, too.
Landry's going as 22nd wide receiver. 2nd pick, 5th round. Josh Gordon is his 15th. I'd rather have Josh Gordon as a 15 than have Landry as 22nd going off the board.
Yes.
Next up, Donte Moncrief.
Moncrief.
Indianapolis to Jacksonville. I'm going to go first right here.
Go ahead.
Not a fan of him. However, I love him as one of your last picks in your draft this year because you don't know what's going to happen in Jacksonville. One of your last 3-round picks, he's not even getting drafted right now in fantasy. So if you don't know last round for kicker, I'll take him as a bench spot. Throw him in the dark, you know?
Yeah,
in the dark.
I agree because I think he has opportunity to be productive there because Jacksonville let their top 2 wide receivers, Robinson and Hurns, go. So he's got opportunity there. Or are you taking him?
I'm taking him. Like, why not? You know?
Well,
throw a dart.
maybe.
Like, you're not going to use him, obviously. He's going to be on your bench. So why not just throw a dart for someone who can get touched on the upside?
Yeah, or he might be left on a waiver wire.
Yeah, 1 or 2. Next, Jordy Nelson, Green Bay to Oakland. You're gonna go first on this one because I think we're gonna have disagreement right here.
Well, we probably are, but I mean, he's a great wide receiver, but once again,
what do you mean?
He doesn't have Rodgers throwing.
You don't like him this year.
He's gonna be. I like him. I don't know if I'm reaching for him like I did in the past.
He's going as a 32nd wide receiver, 4th pick, 7th round right now.
Yeah, he doesn't have Rodgers thrown to him, so I don't know. He's still going to be a good slot receiver, but
is that it?
That's it. That's all on him. I'm not reaching for him.
As a 32nd wide receiver going right now, 4th pick, 7th round. I love Jordy Nelson.
Whoa.
He's going to be full-time slot this year. John Gruden's going to put him in the slot to his natural position. He was playing out of the slot last 2 seasons, and it's just great. His value's going. He's almost identical to Devontae Adams the past 2 years.
Yep.
Past 2 years, they've each had Nelson had 240 targets, Adams had 239. Yards per target, Nelson had 7.2, Adams had 7.9, and the touchdown rate per reception for Nelson was .083, and Adams was .092. Everyone's hyping up Devontae Adams. He's going as the 7th wide receiver this year. Nelson's going in 32nd, is going back to the slot in his natural position. This offense is a totally different look with John Gruden. You got Martavis Bryant and Cooper to take away things. I love him this year.
So you're reaching for him.
I'm not going to reach for him.
What round's he going in?
He's going to go in the 7th round. That's like
round.
wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4 value. I love him there.
Yeah.
Great flex play.
I'll agree with you there.
Love him.
I just don't think he's going to be the same player without Rodgers throwing.
I agree, but this value 7th round.
Yeah, I agree on the value.
Absolutely unbelievable. You put him in your flex some weeks, play matchups even.
I agree on the value.
He's your wide receiver 3 or wide receiver 4. If you're going running back heavy in the draft, I love him as a wide receiver 2. I think he's good if you're going running back heavy.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
Okay. Next up, Terelle Pryor, Washington to New York Jets. I'm not touching him. I don't think he's that good. The Jets suck.
Who's going to throw him the ball in New York? I don't know. He could have a decent year.
No, disgusting. Not touching him.
He had a season-ending ankle injury last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like him either. I'm staying away from Jets wide receivers probably anyway.
Disgusting. I almost just puked in my mouth. All right. Paul Richardson, Seattle to Washington. I'm going to have you go first here because I don't know how much you like him, but...
Washington could use him. He could make the difficult catch. He's got Crowder and Dox in there. Smith should be able to throw it down the field.
Like I mentioned those stats last episode about Smith and deep ball, I am making a bold statement right here. I am saying he's the target leader in Washington this year.
Yeah.
He's going in the 14th round. I love that value.
Wow.
I think he's a top 30 wide receiver this year. I love him. I'm taking him in every draft this year just like I'm taking McKinnon.
I love them in Seattle. I
didn't like him that much in Seattle, but after hearing all his stats stuff, especially with Alex Smith now, I love Paul Richardson this year.
He should have a good year.
Love him. Next up, Allen Robinson, Jacksonville to Chicago. I'm going to have you go first here.
I love Allen Robinson over here. Oh, going to Chicago?
He's going as the 18th wide receiver off the board right now.
I mean, he didn't see the field at all last year.
4th round, 5th pick.
But the Bears went after him heavy.
I think...
They needed to bring in a playmaker in the offense to help Trubisky.
Yes.
He can only improve. I mean, they ranked dead last in passing yards last year. Expect him to have a good year. He should be the number 1 wide receiver in Chicago.
I love him too. Yep. Absolutely love him. I think he's a top 15 wide receiver. He's going as the 18th right now. I say top 15. Yeah, like I said about Anthony Miller in our rookie wide receiver episode, young coach, he'll find ways to get him involved. Jacksonville failed to find ways to get him involved, and he was always just like, what the heck, pass me the ball, and they didn't do it. 4th round value right now. Absolutely love him. Yep. Love.
You didn't hear from him in the past too much, but you're gonna hear. Right, he didn't play last year. Yeah. You're gonna hear from him this year.
Love him. He's also I'm gonna be reaching for. I'll take. He's going behind Cooper, Josh Gordon, Larry Fitzgerald. I'm taking him over T.Y. Hilton. I'm 13. I'm taking him over Josh Gordon. I'm taking him over Cooper. I'm taking him over Fitzgerald. I absolutely love Allen Robinson this year. Next up,
Mike Wallace.
I think he's a perfect post-type sleeper.
From Baltimore to Philly.
He's better than Torrey Smith was. They got rid of Torrey Smith. I like him late. Again, one of the late picks in your draft. I'm taking him.
Yep, he should be a value target. When the rest of the team is getting attention, I think he's good value there. What round's he going in?
Mike Wallace right now. I'm not even sure if he's getting drafted.
But you'd pick him
Mike
in a later
Wallace
round.
is not getting drafted right now.
Okay, wow.
So you can get him in your last pick of your draft if you really wanted to.
Okay.
All right, next up, Sammy Watkins. I'm going to have you go first because I don't know if you like him or not. And if you do like him, I'm letting you know right now, I have a big disagreement.
I don't really know if I like him. I mean, his numbers didn't blow anyone away last year. But he's great in the red zone. He had 8 touchdowns last year in the red zone. There's a lot of talent on KC, but if Watkins can stay healthy, he should have a decent year. He's the number 2 behind Hill.
He's going as the 34th wide receiver right now.
34th, wow.
So he is currently in the 7th round, 7th pick.
Wow.
However, I am avoiding him at all cost. I do not like him at all this year. He's the 4th highest paid wide receiver in the league, and Andy Reid this year talked about wanting to get Hunt more involved in the passing game. And there's already a lot of mouths to feed in this offense. We're either way too low on Mahomes, because Mahomes is going as the quarterback 20 right now, or too high somewhere else. Andy Reid's running back 1 has finished top 7 at the position 52.6% of the time. That's 10 out of 19 times. And then Kelsey's been a top 2 tight end in each of the past 2 years. But Andy Reid's only had a top wide receiver 1, like top 15 wide receiver, only 15.8% of the time. And a top 35 wide receiver 2, this would be Sammy Watkins, only 15.8% of the time. I don't want him. I don't think there's enough.
Wow, for a guy who doesn't want him, you got a lot of information on him.
Yeah, but why I don't want him? I don't want him. I think Tyreek Hill's perfect. I do not want the second wide receiver in his offense, especially with the young quarterback. He's new. I don't know. I like Patrick Mahomes a lot this year because of all the pieces they have, but I am staying away from Sammy Watkins.
All right, I'll go with you there.
Next up, Cordarelle Patterson, Oakland to New England. The only time I'm taking him is in best ball drafts.
Yeah,
I'm not taking them in redraft this year. Again, all of our information and all that stuff is about redraft PPR leagues.
They moved up in the draft. I mean, well, they
traded picks.
They traded 5th pick for the 6th pick, to get him. So I don't know what there's still a lot of weapons there. I mean, he's another.
Bill Belichick's very creative, so I guess best ball formats you can have one touchdown and put him in one.
I don't think you're touching him.
Not in redraft. Torrey Smith, Philadelphia to Carolina. Not touching him. No, I hate him.
He's at the end of his career.
He's bad.
With Funches getting back now behind Bird, Samuels. They also drafted more.
Yeah, no.
There's a lot of mouths. There are a lot of mouths to feed there with a heavy run offense. So I don't think he's any value in Carolina.
I'm not taking him. Next up, we have Cammeron Meredith, Chicago to New Orleans. I love Cam Meredith as a player. However, I hate him this year. Hate. He's coming off an injury.
Yeah.
He's in a new system this year. He was undrafted. And like I said before in a rookie episode about wide receivers.
He didn't play last season either, did he?
He got injured.
Yeah.
It's Traquan Smith time.
Right.
I like Traquan Smith. I love him a lot. Meredith, I'm not touching him. I love him. I'm not touching him this year.
I mean, the doctors told him to let him go.
Yeah, no.
So what does that tell you? Because of his knee problems.
Yeah.
I mean, he gives Breeze another weapon alongside Michael Thomas. I don't know.
Traquan Smith, rookie wide receiver. Love him.
When he was healthy, he had good production from a bad QB, but I don't know if you're drafting him.
You're not. Simple as that. No. Terrell Gabriel, Atlanta, Chicago. I originally thought he was going to be in the slot. However, he's a deep threat, so he's going to line up opposite Allen Robinson, and Anthony Miller is going to be in the slot. I like Anthony Miller more than I like Terrell Gabriel this year in fantasy football. I am not touching Terrell Gabriel.
No, he could be an upside fantasy later in the late
if you
late
want
rounds
to
of the draft.
I'm not taking him. You could take him on the
He's not gonna catch a big number of passes either.
Yeah, no, you could take him. Not me.
No, I didn't say I was taking him. I'm just saying he's upside fantasy if you're looking for someone late.
I mean, possibly.
He's not going to catch a lot of number of passes.
You're not going to want to start him if you draft him.
No.
Well, upside, yeah, but when are you going to start him?
Right.
Albert Wilson, Kansas City, Miami. Like I said with Amendola, he's going to compete with him in the slot. He's really good at forcing missed tackles. He can get him, or Amendola is going to get those short touchdowns that Landry got last year. I believe they will split those, so probably 3 or 4 touchdowns each.
Yeah, he won't produce the value of Landry.
No.
He's got good speed, deep ball threat. Other than that,
no.
I mean, he fills the slot receiver void that they have, but
Amendola too.
Yeah.
And that is the end of our wide receiver section of this. We have tight ends coming up, but before we get to that, once again, iTunes, YouTube, and Google Play, subscribe and download the podcast. Leave us a review, 5 stars, write it, and we will shout you out next episode. All right, let's get into the tight end portion of this episode.
Okay, before you do that, let's talk about the free agency. There's only one tight end on the market, Julius Thomas. I mean, there's rumor that the Seahawks are looking at him.
He's awful.
He is, but they let Jimmy Graham go. They don't want to pay Graham the big money. So maybe adding Thomas would make sense. It would be a good fit for both teams.
Both players and teams, yeah. First off, let's go right to the guy you just mentioned, Jimmy Graham.
I love Jimmy Graham going to Green Bay. I mean, I know Green Bay in the past hasn't relied on a lot of targets to tight ends, but with Jordy gone, I believe big size of Graham will be used in the red zone targets, baby.
He is going as the 4th tight end up the board in the last pick in the 4th round. I'm not taking a tight end early this year, I don't think.
If I'm taking anyone early, I'm taking him.
I'm taking Kelso. I'm taking anyone early.
I'll be looking for him in my drafts.
11th pick, 4th round?
I'm going to make a prediction right now, too. He's going to have double-digit touchdowns this year.
Wow.
Rodgers is going to throw to him.
Wow.
He signed a 1-year, $13 million deal.
I agree he's going to finish as a top 5 tight end, but I'm not taking him.
We're going to have to start bet soon because double-digit touchdowns. The pressure's on for him to perform, and he will.
I'll take the under on that. I'm taking the under on that all the time. He's not going to demand as high as target share as Jordy, but those red zone targets, like you said, he's definitely going to get those.
I love Jimmy Graham going to Green Bay.
I see that. I mean, you like him way more than I do.
He's going to a team that's going to throw.
Yeah. They haven't had a tight end like him in ever. So we're going to see how Rodgers uses him this year. You love him. You said double-digit touchdowns. I'm saying under 10 touchdowns this year.
All right, we're going to write it down.
Write that one down. All right. Next up, Eric Ebron, Detroit to Indianapolis. I believe there's going to be a disagreement right here. You go first.
He signed a 2-year, $15 million deal. He never lived up to his talent being a first-round pick. I think he was the 10th pick, if I'm not mistaken, in Detroit. I mean, he's got a clean slate, a fresh start with an elite QB if luck's around. If Luck can get him the football, he could prove the Lions wrong for not using him more. That's all I got on him.
I love
What?
Eric Ebron this year. Yeah, Jack Doyle's
They got Jack Doyle there,
Jack
too.
Doyle's there, but the Colts want to use him as a weapon in the passing game.
I mean, he's a big guy. I mean,
T.Y. Hilton's the wide receiver 1, first option. Ryan Grant just went to Indianapolis, is probably wide receiver 2. He's right now in drafts. He's going anywhere from the tight end 13 to tight end 18. And last year in Detroit, when they didn't use him as a pass catcher, he finished as tight end 13. I think this is his breakout season. Everyone's waiting for. I believe that he's the perfect late round tight end. I love him this year in drafts. I say he's top 12. Wow. And if you wait on tight end like my strategy is this year, you can take Jimmy Graham in the 4th round. I'll take Eric Ebron in the 12th. I'm going to get way better value wide receiver before you. And
you may get better value, but you're not getting a better player because I just told you about Jimmy Graham.
I love Eric Ebron this year. That's all
right.
I'm saying. I'm taking him in the drafts. Next up, Austin Sefarian-Jenkins, Jets to Jacksonville. You go first.
I don't have much on him, man. He signed a 2-year, $10 million deal. He could be a threat because of his size. I mean, he'll help Bortles out with a red zone threat.
I'm high on him this year.
You're high on him?
I don't know if I'm taking... Right now he's going as a 16th tight end. I love him as a tight end, too. Absolutely love him. The Jaguars averaged 32.2 pass attempts per game last season. He's going to have some of those opportunities. I can see him getting anywhere from 60 to 70 targets this season with a high percentage of those being in the red zone. Lots of upside in this offense because all those pass attempts. He's going as a 16th tight end off the board. Love him as your backup tight end in fantasy. Especially if you get Jimmy Graham, you get him later in drafts. Perfect.
Okay.
Beautiful.
All right.
All right, last tight end we're talking about, Trey Burton. I'm going to go first here. Philadelphia, Chicago. I love him.
Oh, we agree. We're going to agree here.
I believe he's going to play in the slot also sometimes in this season. He's going to get those passing opportunities. He's a top 10 tight end with upside. Yeah. He's going as a 10th tight end right now. I believe he's going to finish top 10 too. So if you're waiting on him, I like him, and I like Eric Ebron and George Kittle. Those are my 3 tight ends I think I'm targeting late. And, yeah, what do you guys say about him?
I love him too. I mean, I don't love him as much as Jimmy Graham, but if I didn't get Jimmy Graham and I had to wait on a tight end, he's definitely on my radar. I mean, he played well while Ertz was battling injuries, but he was always in Ertz's shadow. So now he's on a team. I believe he will thrive in this offense.
All right, so I'm going to play a little game here. It's this or that. I'm going to ask you right now. Burton's going 10th tight end, first pick of 9th round. Delaney Walker's going in front of him 2 rounds, about a round and a couple picks ahead. So are you taking Delaney Walker or Trey Burton this year?
I would take Trey Burton.
Not the price talking. Okay.
No.
What about Trey Burton or Jordan Reed? Same spot.
I would take my shot on Trey Burton. I've had Reed before.
Trey Burton, Tyler Eifert?
I'd probably take Eifert over Burton.
Wow. Kyle Rudolph or Trey Burton? Last one. I'm taking Kyle Rudolph. Kyle Rudolph right now.
Yeah.
So I believe we both agree he's like the 8th or 9th tight end this year is what we're saying.
Who's the number 1 tight end going off the board?
Rob Gronkowski. First
number
pick.
2?
Travis Kelce. Then Ertz. And then your boy Jimmy Graham. You think Jimmy Graham is better than any of those guys above him or no?
I didn't say he's better. I said he's going to have a great year. He's going to have double-digit touchdowns.
That's a bold statement.
I might take him over Ertz, but I probably would take Kelce or Gronk.
You get a whole round discount.
I'm not taking Gronk this year. I've had him in the past. I would take Jimmy Graham. Jimmy Graham is my guy.
Yeah, you like taking the early.
So anyone listening, don't steal my guy.
You like taking those tight ends in the mid to early rounds. I like either taking one early or I wait. I don't take one in the middle rounds.
If you don't get a good one, then you definitely wait.
Like if Gronk's there late in the 3rd round, it's going to be really hard to pass up because that's an advantage.
I don't think he's going to be there in the 3rd round.
He's going in the first.
Somebody's going to grab him.
I'll take him. Yeah. So those are our thoughts on the new tight ends, different places. My dad clearly loves Jimmy Graham.
Love Jimmy Graham.
I like him not as much as him, and I love Eric Ebron.
He's my favorite tight end this year, Jimmy Graham.
Damn. All right. That sums it up for this episode of Old Faces, New Places, Part 2, Wide Receivers, Tight Ends. We hope you guys enjoy. Please leave us a like on YouTube and rate us 5 stars and write a review on either iTunes or Google Play.
Make sure you hit that subscribe button.
Yeah. We're going to be back at our next episode. We're going to do our early quarterback rankings of the year, top 12 quarterbacks. Probably going to have some arguments there.
Yes.
And I hope you guys enjoyed again. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, guys. Enjoy.